How to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck life. The brutally honest guide to real financial freedom. Trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck grind, where every bill feels like a punch to the gut. What if you could break free, sleep without stress, and live life on your terms, starting today? This audiobook will rip the veil off the money myths keeping you stuck. You'll discover raw, no BS strategies to crush debt, build unshakable savings, and create wealth that gives you freedom, not just to survive, but to thrive. By the end, you'll have a crystal clear plan to escape the cycle forever, with the confidence to make every dollar work for you. Stick with me, and you'll never look at money the same way again. Please subscribe to this channel and enable the notification bell so you'll be alerted whenever we upload a new video. Hey there, listener. If you're tuning into this audiobook, chances are you're tired. Tired of scraping by, tired of bills that seem to eat your paycheck before it even hits your account, tired of feeling like you're running on a hamster wheel that's going nowhere. You're not alone. Living paycheck to paycheck is a trap millions fall into, and it's not just about low income. It's a mindset, a system, a cycle that's hard to break. But here's the deal. You can escape it. This audiobook, How to Escape the Paycheck-to-Paycheck Life, the brutally honest guide to real financial freedom, isn't going to sugarcoat things or promise you overnight riches. It's going to give you the raw, unfiltered truth about what it takes to break free and build a life where money isn't your boss. So, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's get real about your money. First off, let's talk about what paycheck-to-paycheck living really is. It's not just about having no savings or maxing out credit cards, though that's part of it for many. It's the constant stress of knowing one missed paycheck, one unexpected car repair, or one medical bill could send your whole world crashing down. It's checking your bank account before buying groceries, skipping dinners out because you can't afford it, or dreading the end of the month when rent's due. Sound familiar? If it does, you're in the right place. The good news: this isn't your fault. Not entirely. The system's rigged to keep you stuck. Wages haven't kept up with inflation for decades. In the US, real wages, your pay adjusted for the cost of living, have barely budged since the 1970s, while housing, healthcare, and education costs have skyrocketed. Add in slick marketing that convinces you to buy stuff you don't need, and it's no wonder you feel trapped. But here's the brutal truth. Blaming the system won't fix your situation. You've got to take ownership. That doesn't mean you caused this mess, but it does mean you're the only one who can get yourself out. Financial freedom isn't about getting lucky, winning the lottery, or landing a six-figure job, though those things don't hurt. It's about changing how you think, act, and live with money. It's about building habits and systems that put you in control, not your bills or your boss. This audiobook is going to walk you through that process, step by step, with no fluff and no judgment. But be warned, it's going to take work. If you're looking for a quick fix, this isn't it. If you're ready to roll up your sleeves, let's dive in. The first step to escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck life is to face reality head-on. You need to know exactly where you stand financially. No guessing, no avoiding, no, I'll check my bank account tomorrow. Grab a notebook or open a spreadsheet, because you're going to do a financial autopsy. Write down every dollar you earn each month. That's your gross income, your paycheck before taxes, insurance, or anything else gets taken out. Now, subtract all the mandatory deductions, taxes, Social Security, health insurance, 401k contributions if you've got them. What's left is your net income, the money you actually see. For most people, this number is a lot smaller than they expect, and that's where the trouble starts. If you don't know what you're working with, you can't plan. Next, track every single expense for the last 30 days. I mean everything: rent, utilities, groceries, that $4 latte, the streaming subscriptions you forgot to cancel, the takeout you ordered when you were too tired to cook. Use your bank statements, credit card statements, or an app like Mint or YNAB to pull this together. Don't skip this step, even if it feels overwhelming. The average person underestimates their spending by 20 to 30%, and those little leaks, like daily coffee runs or impulse buys, add up fast. Once you've got your list, categorize it: housing, food, transportation, debt payments, entertainment, and so on. Now, compare your total expenses to your net income. If you're spending more than you earn, you're in the red, and that's why you're stuck. Even if you're breaking even, you're not safe. One emergency can tip you over the edge. Let's talk about why this happens. For most people, it's not just about low income, it's about lifestyle creep. You get a raise, and instead of saving it, you upgrade your car, move to a nicer apartment, or buy better clothes. It feels good in the moment, but it locks you into a higher cost of living. Society pushes this. Ads tell you you deserve that new phone. Social media shows your friends on fancy vacations, and you feel like you're falling behind if you don't keep up. But here's the truth. Most of those people are broke too. They're just faking it. The sooner you stop comparing yourself to others, the sooner you can focus on what actually matters: your own financial security. Now, let's get to the first big move: building an emergency fund. This is non-negotiable. Without a cash cushion, you're one flat tire or doctor's visit away from disaster. Aim for $1,000 to start. That might sound impossible, but it's not. Look at your expense list. Where can you cut? Maybe it's eating out less, canceling subscriptions you don't use, or switching to a cheaper phone plan. If you're spending $100 a month on takeout, cutting that in half frees up $50. Do that for a few categories, and you're halfway to your goal in a few months. If you're really strapped, look for side gigs: driving for Uber, freelancing online, or even selling stuff you don't need. The average American household has over $300 worth of unused items lying around. That old gaming console or those clothes you never wear. Turn them into cash. Once you've got that $1,000, park it in a separate savings account, not your checking account, where it's easy to spend. This is your safety net. It's not for vacations, new shoes, or Christmas gifts. It's for true emergencies: a broken fridge, a medical bill, or a job loss. Having this buffer changes everything. It gives you breathing room, reduces stress, and keeps you from relying on credit cards when life throws a curveball. And trust me, life always does. Now, let's talk about debt, because for most people, it's the anchor dragging them down. The average American has over $6,000 in credit card debt, and that's not counting student loans, car loans, or mortgages. Debt isn't just a number, it's a mental weight. Every payment feels like a reminder that you're not free. So, how do you tackle it? First, stop adding to it. Cut up your credit cards if you have to, or at least freeze them in a block of ice so you can't use them impulsively. Next, list all your debts: every credit card, loan, or medical bill. Write down the balance, interest rate, and minimum payment for each. There are two main strategies to pay them off: the snowball method and the avalanche method. The snowball method, popularized by Dave Ramsey, focuses on paying off your smallest debt first while making minimum payments on the rest. Once the smallest is gone, roll that payment into the next smallest, and so on. It's motivating because you see quick wins. The avalanche method, on the other hand, targets the debt with the highest interest rate first, saving you more money in the long run. Mathematically, the avalanche is better. High interest debt, like credit cards at 20% or more, grows faster than you can outrun it. But if you need psychological wins to stay motivated, go with the snowball. The key is to pick one and stick with it. Throw every extra dollar you can at your chosen debt. Use that $50 you saved from cutting takeout, pick up an extra shift, or sell more stuff. Every payment gets you closer to freedom. While you're paying off debt, you need a budget. I know, the word budget sounds like a prison sentence, but it's actually the opposite. It's your ticket out. A budget isn't about deprivation. It's about telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Try the 50-30-20 rule as a starting point. 50% of your net income goes to needs: housing, utilities, groceries; 30% to wants: dining out, hobbies, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. If you're deep in debt or barely scraping by, you might need to tweak this. Maybe 70% needs, 10% wants, 20% debt. The point is to be intentional. Use a budgeting app or a simple spreadsheet, and check in weekly. Adjust as you go. If you overspend on groceries, cut back on entertainment. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Let's pause on budgeting for a second and talk about income. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, cutting expenses can only go so far. At some point, you need to earn more. This doesn't mean you have to land a corner office job. Look at your skills. Can you freelance? Teach something you're good at, like tutoring or graphic design. Platforms like Upwork or Fiverr can connect you with clients. If that's not your thing, consider a part-time job or negotiating a raise at your current gig. The average raise is about 3 to 5%, but if you can show your boss hard evidence of your value, sales numbers, projects completed, or cost savings, you might get more. If your job's a dead end, start looking for something better. Update your resume, take free online courses to boost your skills, and network. Even a $2,000 a year raise can make a huge difference over time. Now, let's get to the mindset shift, because this is where most people trip up. Escaping the paycheck to paycheck life isn't just about numbers, it's about how you think about money. If you see it as something to spend the second it hits your account, you'll stay broke. Start seeing money as a tool to build the life you want. That means delaying gratification, skipping the new phone now so you can have a bigger savings account later. It means redefining enough. You don't need the latest gadgets or a fancy car to be happy. Studies show that after about $75,000 a year, adjusted for your area's cost of living, more money doesn't make you happier. What does? Security, freedom, and time to do what you love. That's what you're working toward. Another mindset trap is thinking you're bad with money. You're not. You just haven't been taught how to manage it. Schools don't teach this stuff, and most parents don't either. You're learning now, and that's what counts. Start small. Celebrate wins, like paying off a credit card or sticking to your budget for a month. Surround yourself with people who support your goals, not ones who pressure you to spend. If your friends are always pushing you to go out, suggest cheaper hangouts, like a game night at home instead of a bar. Your real friends will get it. Let's talk about long-term goals, because escaping the paycheck to paycheck life isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Once you've got your $1,000 emergency fund and are making progress on debt, start thinking bigger. Build that emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's $10,000, $20,000 for most people, depending on your lifestyle. It sounds like a lot, but it's doable over time. After that, start investing. Even $50 a month in a low-cost index fund can grow significantly over 20 to 30 years thanks to compound interest. For example, $50 a month at an 8% average return grows to over $40,000 in 30 years. That's not pocket change. It's a down payment on a house or a chunk of your retirement. Speaking of retirement, if your employer offers a 401k match, take it. It's free money. If they match 3%, that's an instant 100% return on every dollar you contribute up to that limit. Don't have a 401k? Open a Roth IRA. You can contribute up to $7,000 a year in 2025, and the money grows tax-free. The key is to start early, even if it's just $25 a month. Time is your biggest asset here. A 25-year-old who invests $100 a month until 65 at an 8% return ends up with over $300,000. Wait until you're 35, and that drops to $130,000. Don't sleep on this. Let's circle back to expenses, because there's one area most people overlook: housing. It's the biggest chunk of most budgets, often 30 to 40% of income. If you're renting, consider a cheaper place or getting a roommate. If you own a home, look at refinancing if interest rates drop, or rent out a spare room. The average rent in the US is about $1,500 a month. If you can cut that by $300, that's $3,600 a year you can redirect to debt, savings, or investing. Transportation is another big one. The average car payment is over $500 a month. If you can buy a reliable used car for cash or pay off your current one faster, that's another huge win. By now, you're probably seeing a pattern. Small changes add up. Skipping a $10 lunch twice a week saves $1,040 a year. Switching to a cheaper phone plan might save $20 a month, or $240 a year. These aren't sexy, but they're effective. The goal is to create margin, extra money each month that you can use to build wealth, not just survive. And wealth isn't about being a millionaire. It's about having enough to cover your needs, enjoy your life, and not lose sleep over bills. Let's talk about habits, because they're the glue that holds this together. Financial freedom isn't a one-time decision, it's a series of choices you make every day. Get in the habit of checking your bank account weekly, not just when you're scared you'll overdraft. Set up automatic transfers to your savings or investments, even if it's just $10 a paycheck. Automating removes temptation and makes saving effortless. Review your budget monthly to see what's working and what's not. And most importantly, keep learning. Read books like The Millionaire Next Door or Your Money or Your Life. Listen to podcasts like Choosefy or The Money Guy Show. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the less likely you are to fall back into old patterns. One last thing before we move on: protect your progress. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, job losses, health issues, family drama. That's why your emergency fund is sacred. It's also why you need insurance. If you rent, get renter's insurance. It's cheap, often under $20 a month, and covers you if your place burns down or gets robbed. If you have dependents, get term life insurance. It's affordable and ensures your family's taken care of if the worst happens. Health insurance is a must too. Medical debt is one of the top reasons people file for bankruptcy. Don't skimp here, even if it means cutting elsewhere. At this point, you've got the tools to start breaking the cycle. A clear picture of your finances, a plan to cut expenses, a strategy for debt, a budget to guide you, and a mindset shift to keep you focused. But this is just the beginning. Escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck life is a journey, and it's not always linear. You'll mess up. You'll overspend sometimes or face setbacks. That's okay. The key is to keep going. Every step forward counts, and every dollar you save, pay off, or invest is a step toward a life where you're not just surviving, you're in control. Alright, let's keep this train rolling. You've got the foundation: your financial autopsy, a starter emergency fund, a debt repayment plan, a budget, and a shift in how you think about money. But escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck life isn't just about checking boxes. It's about building momentum, staying disciplined, and dreaming bigger than just covering next month's rent. This next part of How to Escape the Paycheck-to-Paycheck Life, the brutally honest guide to real financial freedom, is going to dig deeper, get rawer, and push you to see the bigger picture. We're not here to just survive, we're here to rewrite your story. So, let's turn up the heat and make this journey not just practical, but gripping. Picture yourself breaking free, not just from bills, but from the mental cage that's kept you stuck. Ready? Let's go. Imagine waking up one day and not feeling that knot in your stomach when you check your bank account. Imagine having enough saved to tell your boss, "I'm done," without panicking about how you'll eat. That's what financial freedom feels like. Not a private jet or a mansion, but the power to make choices without money holding a gun to your head. The path to that life starts with doubling down on what you've already begun. Let's talk about supercharging your emergency fund. That $1,000 you saved. It's a lifeline, but it's not enough for true security. Life's emergencies don't care about your plans. A single hospital stay can cost $10,000 without insurance. A job loss can drain your savings in weeks if you're not prepared. Your next goal is a fully funded emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses. For most people, that's $10,000 to $20,000, depending on your lifestyle. Sounds daunting, right? It's not. Break it down. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, a 6-month fund is $18,000. If you save $200 a month, it'll take 7.5 years. Too long. Double it to $400 a month, and you're there in under 4 years. The trick is finding that extra cash. Look at your budget again. You've already cut the low-hanging fruit. Takeout, unused subscriptions, maybe that gym membership you haven't touched since January. Now it's time to get creative. Can you refinance your car loan to lower payments? Switch to a cheaper internet provider. Negotiate your rent or move to a less expensive place. In 2025, the average rent in the US is pushing $1,600 a month. If you're paying $2,000 but could find a place for $1,400, that's $7,200 a year saved. That's nearly half your emergency fund right there. If cutting more feels impossible, it's time to hustle. Side gigs are your secret weapon. The gig economy is booming. People are making money driving for Lyft, delivering groceries through Instacart, or tutoring online. If you've got a skill, like writing, graphic design, or even organizing, platforms like Upwork or TaskRabbit can turn it into cash. Let's say you pick up 10 hours a week at $20 an hour. That's $800 a month before taxes. Even after Uncle Sam takes his cut, you're looking at $500, $600. Put that toward your emergency fund, and you're hitting your goal in half the time. Don't have a skill? No problem. Retail, bartending, or even dog walking can bring in extra. The average dog walker in a city charges $15-$25 per walk. 5 walks a week, and you're pocketing $300, $500 a month. The point is, there's always a way to make more. You just have to want it bad enough. Now, let's talk debt again, because it's the ball and chain keeping most people from sprinting toward freedom. If you're following the snowball or avalanche method, you're already chipping away. But let's kick it up a notch. Look at your highest interest debt, probably a credit card at 20% or more. That interest is like a leak in your financial boat, and it's sinking you faster than you realize. If you've got a $5,000 balance at 22%, you're paying $1,100 a year in interest alone. That's $1,100 you could have put toward your emergency fund or investments. So, get aggressive. Call your credit card company and negotiate a lower rate. Studies show 70% of people who ask for a rate reduction get one, often shaving 2–5% off. That could save you hundreds a year. If negotiation doesn't work, consider a balance transfer to a card with a 0% introductory rate. These deals usually last 12 to 18 months, giving you a window to pay down the principal without interest piling up. Just watch out for transfer fees, typically 3–5% of the balance, and make sure you can pay it off before the promo period ends, or you'll be hit with a sky-high rate. Another option is consolidating your debt into a personal loan with a lower rate. Online lenders like Sophie or Lending Club offer rates as low as 7–10% for good credit, compared to 20% plus on cards. Run the numbers to make sure it saves you money, and don't fall into the trap of racking up new card debt once you consolidate. While you're attacking debt, don't neglect your budget. It's your roadmap, and without it, you're driving blind. The 50-30-20 rule we talked about, 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings and debt, is a starting point, but let's make it bulletproof. Track your spending daily for a month. Apps like Pocket Guard or GoodBudget make this easy, but a notebook works too. Every night, write down what you spent. Seeing it in black and white forces you to confront your choices. Spent $15 on lunch. That's $3,900 a year if you do it 5 days a week. Brown bag it 3 days instead, and you've saved $2,340. That's real money. Adjust your budget monthly based on what you learn. If you're consistently overspending on groceries, maybe you're shopping hungry or not planning meals. Batch cook on Sundays, buy in bulk, or stick to a list. Small tweaks like this can free up hundreds a month. Let's talk about income again, because cutting costs is only half the equation. If you're stuck in a low-paying job, it's time to level up. You don't need a degree or a fancy title to boost your income, you need skills and hustle. Look at high-demand fields in 2025. Tech, healthcare, trades. Coding bootcamps can teach you to build websites in 3 months for $5,000, $10,000, and entry-level developers earn $60,000, $80,000 a year. Can't afford a bootcamp? Free resources like FreeCodeCamp or Coursera can get you started. Trades like plumbing or electrical work are goldmines. Apprentices start at $20, $30 an hour, and experienced workers can clear $100,000 a year. If that's not your vibe, look at certifications. A project management cert like PMP can boost your salary by 20%, and you can study online for under $500. If you're happy with your career but underpaid, it's time to negotiate. Most people leave money on the table because they're scared to ask. Research your market value on sites like Glassdoor or Payscale. If you're a customer service representative earning $40,000 but the median in your area is $50,000, you've got leverage. Build a case. List your accomplishments, like handling 20% more calls than your peers or saving the company money. Practice your pitch with a friend. When you ask, aim high but be reasonable. Say, $48,000 instead of $50,000. If your boss says no, ask for non-salary perks, extra vacation days, remote work, or a bonus. If you're in a dead-end job, start looking. The job market in 2025 is tight in some sectors, but industries like tech, logistics, and healthcare are hiring. Update your LinkedIn. Network with people in your field, and apply strategically, not just spraying resumes everywhere. Now, let's get to the fun part. Building wealth. Paying off debt and saving an emergency fund are defense, keeping you from drowning. Wealth building is offense, setting you up to win. Once your high-interest debt is gone and your emergency fund is solid, start investing. You don't need to be a Wall Street guru. The simplest, most effective way is low-cost index funds or ETFs that track the stock market, like the S&P 500. Historically, the S&P 500 returns about 7–8% annually after inflation. If you invest $200 a month at 8% for 30 years, you'll have over $300,000. That's not a pipe dream, that's math. Open a brokerage account with Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Their fees are low, and setup takes 10 minutes. If you're nervous, start with $50 a month. The key is consistency, not perfection. If you've got a 401k with an employer match, max it out. Let's say your company matches 100% of your contributions up to 5% of your $50,000 salary. That's $2,500 free money a year. Contribute $2,500, and you've got $5,000 invested before you blink. No 401k. Open a Roth IRA. In 2025, you can contribute $7,000 a year, and withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. If you're 30 and invest $5,000 a year at 8% until 65, you'll have over $1.1 million. That's the power of time and compound interest. Don't wait until you're rich to start. $25 a month is better than zero. Let's talk about mindset again, because this is where the rubber meets the road. The paycheck-to-paycheck life isn't just about money, it's about fear, scarcity, and feeling like you're never enough. Break that cycle. Start by redefining success. It's not about keeping up with your neighbor's Tesla or your cousin's Instagram perfect life. It's about peace of mind, choices, and time. Studies show happiness plateaus after your basic needs are met. Around $80,000, $100,000 in most U.S. cities in 2025, depending on living costs. Beyond that, more stuff doesn't make you happier. Focus on experiences. A hike with friends, a skill you're mastering, a side project you love. Those cost less and mean more. Another mindset shift is embracing frugality, not cheapness, but intentionality. Frugality is choosing to spend on what matters and cutting what doesn't. Love travel. Skip the $200 sneakers and save for a trip. Obsessed with coffee. Brew it at home for 50 cents a cup instead of $5 at Starbucks. The average American spends $1,500 a year on coffee shop drinks. Brew your own, and you've got another $1,500 for your Roth IRA. Frugality isn't about deprivation, it's about power. Every dollar you don't waste is a dollar working for you. Let's address the emotional side, because money stress is real. Living paycheck to paycheck can make you feel like a failure, but you're not. You're fighting a rigged game with rules you weren't taught. Give yourself grace. Celebrate small wins. The first time you stick to your budget, the day you pay off a credit card, the moment you hit $5,000 in your emergency fund. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, partner, or family member. Accountability keeps you honest. If you're struggling, consider a support group like Debtors Anonymous or a financial coach. They're not just for problem cases, they're for anyone who wants to stay on track. Now, let's talk about protecting your progress, because life loves to test you. Once your emergency fund is growing, lock it down. Use a high-yield savings account. Online banks like Ally or Marcus offer 4-5% interest in 2025, compared to 0.01% at traditional banks. That's an extra $400 a year on a $10,000 balance, just for picking the right account. Keep it separate from your checking, and set up two-factor authentication so you're not tempted to dip in. Next, double-check your insurance. If you're a homeowner, review your policy. Does it cover natural disasters common in your area? If you're a renter, renter's insurance is a no-brainer. $15-20 a month protects your stuff and covers liability if someone gets hurt in your place. If you've got a family, term life insurance is critical. A 20-year, $500,000 policy for a healthy 30-year-old costs about $25 a month. That's pocket change for peace of mind. Let's zoom out and talk about your why. Why do you want financial freedom? Maybe it's to quit a job you hate, travel the world, or give your kids a better start than you had. Hold on to that vision. Write it down, stick it on your fridge, make it your phone wallpaper. When you're tempted to splurge on something dumb, that why will pull you back. For me, it's about time. Time to write, to think, to live without a clock ticking over my head. What's it for you? That's your fuel. Use it. By now, you're not just surviving, you're building. Your emergency fund's growing, your debt's shrinking, your budget's tight, and you're investing for the future. But let's talk about the traps waiting to derail you. First, lifestyle inflation. You get a raise or pay off a debt, and suddenly you deserve a bigger house or a new car. Don't fall for it. Lock in your lifestyle now. Live like you're still broke, and funnel every extra dollar into savings or investments. Second, shiny object syndrome. Crypto, day trading, or that can't miss business idea your friend's pushing. Most of these are gambles, not investments. Stick to boring, proven strategies like index funds. Third, burnout. This journey is a marathon, not a sprint. If you're grinding 80 hours a week to pay off debt, you'll crash. Schedule downtime, even if it's just a walk or a movie night. Your mental health is as important as your bank account. Let's talk about community, because you don't have to do this alone. Surround yourself with people who get it. If your friends are spendthrifts, you'll feel pressure to keep up. Find a tribe that values financial independence. Online communities like the FIRE, Financial Independence, Retire Early, subreddit or local meetups for frugal folks. Share tips, swap stories, celebrate wins. If your partner's not on board, that's a bigger challenge. Money fights are a top cause of divorce. Have an honest talk. Lay out your goals, fears, and dreams. Make it a team effort. If they're resistant, start with small changes, like a joint budget for one category, and build from there. Now, let's dream bigger. Once your debt's gone and your emergency fund's solid, what's next? Maybe it's buying a home without stretching yourself thin. In 2025, The median home price in the US is around $400,000, but you don't need to buy at the median. Look at smaller homes or up-and-coming areas. Save 20% for a down payment to avoid PMI, private mortgage insurance, which can add $100, $300 a month to your payment. Or maybe your dream is starting a business. Entrepreneurship isn't a golden ticket. Most startups fail, but it can be a path to freedom if you plan it right. Start small, test your idea on the side, and keep your day job until it's profitable. The average side hustle earns $1,000 to $2,000 a month with 10 to 20 hours of work. That's enough to replace a full-time job eventually. Another big dream might be early retirement or financial independence. The FIRE movement is about saving 50–70% of your income to retire in your 30s or 40s. Sound extreme? It is, but even a light version, saving 30%, can let you retire a decade early. The math is simple. If you spend $40,000 a year, you need 25 times that $1 million invested at a 4% withdrawal rate to retire comfortably. Save $10,000 a year at 8% return, and you'll hit that in about 30 years. Save $20,000, and it's 20 years. Every dollar you save now shaves time off your working life. Let's wrap this section with a gut check. Escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck life is hard. It's not glamorous. You'll say no to things you want, miss out on nights out, maybe feel like you're falling behind your peers. But every sacrifice now is an investment in a future where you're not chained to a paycheck. Picture yourself 5 years from now. Debt-free, a fat emergency fund, investments growing, and the freedom to take a risk. Start a business, move somewhere new, or just sleep without stress. That's worth it. Keep your eyes on that prize, and don't let the noise of the world distract you. You're not just managing money, you're rewriting your life. And you're just getting started. Alright, listener, we're deep in this journey now, and you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You've faced your financial reality, built a starter emergency fund, tackled debt with a vengeance, locked in a budget, and started investing for the future. You're not just reacting to life's punches anymore, you're throwing some of your own. But escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck life isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a lifestyle, a commitment to never letting money control you again. In this final stretch of how to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck life, the brutally honest guide to real financial freedom, we're going to crank up the intensity. We'll dive into advanced strategies, dodge the traps that could pull you back, and paint a vivid picture of what life looks like when you're truly free. Then, we'll wrap it up with a conclusion that'll leave you fired up to keep going. Buckle up. This is where it gets real. Let's start with scaling up your wealth building. You've got the basics down. A fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months expenses, high interest debt in the rear view, and maybe a few bucks trickling into an index fund or Roth IRA. Now it's time to accelerate. Think of your money like a snowball rolling downhill. The bigger it gets, the faster it grows. The key is increasing your savings rate. Right now, you might be saving 10–20% of your income, which is solid. But what if you could hit 30%, 40%, or even 50%? That's not crazy talk. It's how people retire early or build serious wealth. The average American saves less than 5% of their income. Be the exception. How do you get there? First, keep your lifestyle lean. As your income grows, through raises, side hustles, or a new job, don't let your expenses creep up. In 2025, the temptation to upgrade is everywhere. Ads push $1,000 phones, $80,000 SUVs, and $5,000 vacations as normal. They're not. The average new car payment is $550 a month, or $6,600 a year. Drive a paid-off, reliable car for 5 years instead, and you've got $33,000 to invest. At an 8% return, that's $48,000 in 10 years. That's a down payment on a house or a year of living expenses. Every time you say no to lifestyle inflation, you're saying yes to freedom. Next, let's talk about income again, because it's the gas in your financial engine. If you're still in the same job with no growth, it's time to shake things up. The job market in 2025 is a mixed bag. Tech and healthcare are hot, but traditional sectors, like retail or manufacturing, are sluggish. If you're in a stagnant field, pivot. You don't need a 4-year degree to make bank. Trade schools for welding, HVAC, or plumbing take 6 to 18 months and cost $5,000, $15,000. Graduates often start at $50,000, $70,000, with top earners clearing 6 figures. If trades aren't your thing, look at certifications in high-demand fields like cybersecurity. CompTIA Security Plus costs $400 to study for, or cloud computing. Oz certifications start at $150. These can boost your salary by 20–50% in a year. If you love your job but want more, get creative. Can you take on a leadership role? Propose a new project that saves your company money or boosts revenue, then use it to negotiate a raise. The average raise in 2025 is 3 to 4%, but top performers can get 7–10%. If your employer won't budge, test the market. Update your resume, polish your LinkedIn, and reach out to recruiters. Don't just apply to jobs, network. Connect with people in your industry on X or at local events. A warm intro can get you in the door faster than 100 cold applications. And don't sleep on side hustles. In 2025, the gig economy is projected to grow 15%, with platforms like Upwork, Rover, and DoorDash offering endless ways to earn. A side hustle pulling in $1,000 a month at 20 hours a week is like giving yourself a $24,000 a year raise after taxes. Now, let's talk investing, because this is where your money starts working harder than you do. If you're already putting money into index funds or a 401k, great, now optimize. Make sure you're in low-cost funds. Fees above 0.5% eat your returns alive. For example, a 1% fee on a $100,000 portfolio costs you $1,000 a year. Over 30 years, that's $30,000 lost to fees. Stick with funds like Vanguard's VD-SAX or Fidelity's FZROX, with fees under 0.1%. If you've got extra cash, diversify. Real estate can be a game changer. You don't need to buy a rental property. Platforms like Fundrise let you invest in real estate with as little as $10. Historically, real estate returns 8–10% annually, and it's a hedge against inflation. If you're feeling bolder, explore dividend stocks or REITs, real estate investment trusts. They pay regular dividends, giving you passive income. For example, a $10,000 investment in a REIT yielding 4% pays $400 a year, which you can reinvest or use to cover expenses. Just don't go all in on one stock. Diversify to spread risk. If the stock market scares you, consider bonds or CDs for stability. In 2025, high-yield CDs are offering 4 to 5%, guaranteed. The key is to keep investing consistently, no matter the market. Dollar cost averaging. Investing a fixed amount monthly smooths out ups and downs. A $200 monthly investment at 8% grows to $745,000 in 40 years. Miss the first 10 years, and it's only $329,000. Time is your superpower. Use it. Let's tackle housing again, because it's the biggest expense for most people. If you're renting, rethink your situation. The average U.S. rent in 2025 is $1,650 a month, or $19,800 a year. If you're paying $2,000, moving to a $1,500 place saves $6,000 annually. That's $60,000 in 10 years, enough for a down payment or a massive boost to your investments. If you're set on staying, negotiate with your landlord, offer to sign a longer lease for a discount. If you're a homeowner, look at house hacking. Rent out a spare room on Airbnb or to a long-term tenant. The average Airbnb host earns $900 a month, even half that covers a chunk of your mortgage. If you're underwater on your home or in an expensive city, consider relocating to a lower-cost area. Remote work is still big in 2025. Use it to your advantage. Now, let's get to the mental game, because this is where most people fall apart. Escaping the paycheck to paycheck life is 20% math and 80% psychology. You're fighting years of habits, societal pressure, and maybe even family expectations. The biggest enemy: instant gratification. We're wired for it, and in 2025, it's worse than ever. One click shopping, social media flexing, and buy now, pay later schemes are designed to keep you broke. Fight back by rewiring your brain. Practice delayed gratification. Want that $200 jacket? Wait 30 days. If you still want it, buy it with cash you've budgeted. 9 times out of 10, the urge passes. This isn't about saying no forever. It's about saying yes to bigger things: security, freedom, a life you control. Another mental trap is comparison. Scrolling X, you see people your age buying houses, taking cruises, or flashing designer bags. Most of them are in debt up to their eyeballs. The average American has $7,000 in credit card debt in 2025, and 40% carry a balance month to month. Don't play their game. Unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Follow people who inspire you to save, invest, or hustle. Accounts like at Themonanards or at ChooseFI. Surround yourself with a tribe that lifts you up, not drags you down. If your friends are big spenders, set boundaries. Suggest free or cheap hangouts, a picnic, a hike, or a potluck. Real friends won't care if you're not dropping $100 at a club. Let's talk about setbacks, because they're coming. A car breaks down, a medical bill hits, or you lose your job. In 2025, layoffs are up in some industries. Tech alone shed 50,000 jobs in the first half of the year. Your emergency fund is your shield, but you also need a plan. If you're hit with a big expense, pause your debt payments, accept minimums, and redirect that money to rebuild your fund. If you lose your job, cut expenses to the bone, cancel subscriptions, eat rice and beans, negotiate bills. Most utility companies offer payment plans if you call before you're late. Apply for unemployment immediately. In the US, it can cover 40–50% of your income for up to 26 weeks. Then hustle. Update your resume, tap your network, and take any job, even if it's a step down, to keep cash flowing. Let's zoom out to the big picture: financial independence. This isn't about being a millionaire, though that's nice. It's about having enough to live on your terms. The rule of thumb is the 4% rule. Save 25 times your annual expenses, and you can withdraw 4% a year without running out. If you spend $40,000 a year, that's $1 million invested. At $60,000, it's $1.5 million. Sound impossible? It's not. Save $15,000 a year at 8% from age 30, and you hit $1 million by 60. Save $25,000, and you're there by 55. The higher your savings rate, the faster it happens. If you can live on $30,000 a year instead of $60,000, you only need $750,000. Frugality and investing are your superpowers. What does financial independence look like? Maybe it's quitting your 9 to 5 to start a passion project. Maybe it's working part-time so you can travel or spend time with family. For some, it's moving to a low-cost country, think Portugal or Mexico, where $2,000 a month buys a comfortable life. In 2025, digital nomad visas are easier to get, and remote work makes it possible. Imagine waking up in a beachside town, working 20 hours a week, and knowing your investments cover your bills. That's not a fantasy, it's math and discipline. Now, let's talk legacy. Escaping the paycheck to paycheck life isn't just about you. It's about breaking the cycle for your kids, your family, or your community. Teach your kids what you wish you'd known: how to budget, save, and invest. If you don't have kids, share your knowledge with friends or mentor someone. In 2025, financial illiteracy is still rampant. Only 17 states require personal finance education in schools. Be the change. If you're in a position to give, consider donating to causes that help others escape poverty, like job training programs or financial literacy nonprofits. Even $50 a month can make a difference. As we wrap up, let's address the elephant in the room: fear. Fear of failing, of missing out, of not being good enough with money. That fear is normal, but it's also a liar. You're not defined by your past mistakes or your current bank balance. Every step you take, every dollar saved, every debt paid, every investment made, is proof you're rewriting your story. You're not just escaping the paycheck to paycheck life, you're building a life where money serves you, not the other way around. Conclusion. Listener, you're standing at a crossroads. Behind you is the paycheck to paycheck life, stress, uncertainty, and the constant grind of never having enough. Ahead is financial freedom, the ability to make choices without fear, to live on your terms, to build a future that excites you. This audiobook has given you the map: facing your finances head on, building an emergency fund, crushing debt, budgeting like a boss, boosting your income, investing for the long haul, and rewiring your mindset. But a map's useless if you don't walk the path. The truth: this journey is hard. You'll sacrifice. You'll doubt yourself. You'll face setbacks. But every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're one step closer to a life where money isn't your master. Picture it: a morning where you wake up, check your bank account, and feel calm. A day where you say yes to what matters: a trip, a passion project, time with loved ones, because you've built the foundation to make it possible. That's not a dream, it's your future, and it's closer than you think. So, what's your next step? Today, not tomorrow, do one thing. Check your budget. Call a creditor. Put $10 in a savings account. Research a side hustle. Small actions compound, just like your investments. You're not just escaping a cycle, you're building a legacy. You've got the tools, the knowledge, and the grit. Now go make it happen. Your future self is cheering you on, and so am I. Please subscribe to this channel and enable the notification bell so you'll be alerted whenever we upload a new video.